Whenever you're ready. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what it do, what it could be. Hopefully this is what it should be. I'm Sneakz, by the way.
And I'm Ellie G.
And guess what? Who we got in the building? We got San Bernardino's very own Big Syx.
Hey.
It's game time. I know it's been a while. Y'all probably miss us, but we back at it like a crack at it, you know, when they get back to their habits.
Just like that.
Sorry, we're all sipping first. Should we start it off with that? Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo.
Yeah.
Partying on a Wednesday.
Hey, it be like that. What's that? What's today? Cinco de Mayo? I think it's supposed to be mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
So,
Cinco de Breezy.
we're going to start like this, Syx, because it's 2021. I think we've known you since about 2018.
Yeah, just about.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, I want to say it's been there. Like, because you got to remember, 2020, it was like a dead window. And even in 2020, in the midst of the fucking coronavirus and the quarantine and all that, we still put up to the studio and walked in. And I walked past and she, what the fuck you doing in here? She was still out and about, still working. So,
Facts.
that shit crazy. How long you been doing this?
Man, I started the music side of things 2017. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So we met you like right after you started.
Yes.
That's dope.
Before I was doing PR, so everywhere I was pulling up, it was because of my PR connections. So I was...
Wait, so you were people's PR? Like you were running PR for other artists or like
artists by myself. I started like 2015, 16. I was like, I'm about to do PR. I started popping up to events. I started shaking people's hands like, my name is Simone, you feel me? Yeah, I do PR. If you need me, well, people start, oh, let me get your email. I just started getting invites to events.
How old are you?
And stuff. I'm 25 now. Yeah.
This is
cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
You started early. You were like,
yeah, I was literally
what
like
I'm doing.
19. Yeah. I started popping up everywhere. Like even doing my mom told me about it. I was like, oh, this is the trick. Like I was pulling up to award shows and being a seat filler. And that's how I was meeting people out there. Like every time we switch in, you feel me, in the awards, I'm in people's faces like, what's up, man? What you
I
doing?
believe it. That's how you was on top.
Exactly.
Like you not scared to jump out there and be like, hey, what's up? What's going on?
Exactly.
I'm telling you, we seen you from Revolt, from
Yes.
regular shows,
Exactly.
big shows, studios.
Facts.
I forgot we ran into you at Revolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you was everywhere. See, that's why we had to bring you in, because I'm like, we run into you all the time.
Yes.
And people don't understand like this. The work ethic that goes on with this shit is really important. Because when we first met you, I was like, we was dealing with so many artists at the time. When you first popped into the scene, I'm like, I don't have time for artists that may not really be about it. And then you live way in San Bernardino. I was like, I'm just gonna lead you to my boy, Indy's going major, and let y'all have a conversation.
Yeah.
That shit crazy. But as time continued, as you kept on popping up, I'm just like, okay, I'm just mentioning to my wife like, hey, like she's popping up everywhere, like she working, like you can't deny work. Like that's one thing that we hesitate with artists is they don't have no work ethic.
Right. That's really what it is. They think it's more than just music. Like that's the start of it. You have content, but once you have content, now you have to actually work. You have to put in real work, footwork. Your face has to be. You got to be out there shaking hands. It's like the crazy thing is the same thing I learned in being a security guard. It's customer service. So you gotta be appealing to the fans.
Yeah, she's a security guard. We're just gonna throw that in there.
Yeah. I'm trying to open up my own security company.
That's smart.
Yeah,
like, and you know what? It might be a security company.
Yeah,
I run into this sometimes.
Exactly.
Just gonna casually throw this in there.
And in security,
it's okay. We'll ask about it.
Exactly. See, and even in security, like that tied into. I started working at Coachella, and I'm backstage shaking people's hands. I was touching Rihanna's coat. I didn't even know it was her. They was like, you gotta clear the way for this person. People start coming through. I'm like walking behind her. I'm touching on her coat. I'm like, who even is this?
She's like, I don't know who I'm walking. I'm walking a coat through
like,
here.
Yeah. And then
very important coat.
And then I got her to like a little section, and she turned around, and it was Rihanna, and I was like, oh, crazy.
Oh, no.
And that's doing security. So even then, and I wasn't even doing music then. I was still PR. I was shaking people's hands like crazy. Like, even they was telling me like, you have to do your job. You got to stay on post, man. Look, it's bigger than this. Like, I don't know what I need to do beyond this, but it's bigger than this security job. So.
And I wonder, did you learn this as a PR and you jumped into being an artist, and that's how you know, like, you just have to be out there and the music is one thing, but the business is more important?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's like my little like gem in being an artist is I know the PR side of it. So it's like instead of like reaching out or like looking for like a whole team and stuff, like I can do most of the things on my own, or like even get into certain events, like I could get in them on my own, and I've like figured that out. I'm like, and it's through PR. Like as soon as I became an artist, I was able to reach back to all my PR friends, pitch them to the music. Like, look, I got this going. They just write articles and send it to me. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, so it's real. I learned all of it. Everything I learned applying as an artist, I learned it doing PR, and that I did that for a couple years, and it taught me a lot.
That's good. This is Busy in Music, and with this, we always talk about the business side of shit. And a lot of artists don't understand, or not even just artists, the people that's the fans or the listeners that's out there, they don't understand the work ethic. All they know is put music out and then it's on TV, or put music out and you can stream it. And people don't understand that it's more than that.
It's way more, yes, absolutely. It's way more marketing. You gotta literally be strategic with your releases. It's beyond just being in the studio recording. Like, you gotta meet DJs. You gotta go out. Like, that's why it's crazy. Everywhere we meet, like we going, like it's because we out there, like, and it's like good us running into each other. That's how that's supposed to be.
everywhere that we see you is mainly like we low key putting in work to be here. Exactly. So when we see you, I'm like, okay, like she putting in work good.
Yes, exactly. That's why it'd be funny. It'd be so funny. Like, we got here.
Exactly.
Yes, yep.
And that's the whole thing about it is like when I see people, I try not to blow people off because it's like we're gonna see where you at later. It's all about the whole thing about this shit is it's a lot of doors. It's a lot of doors in this music industry, but those doors come into being in the same building.
Facts.
So it's like eventually we're gonna end up on the same floor in the same room.
Facts.
If you are in this building.
Facts.
And that's why like let me see. Let's just keep working.
Facts.
The people above us, I'd be like, let's work to get inside their door.
Exactly.
The people below me, I'm like, let's see if they're gonna continue to work to see if we're gonna be in the same room. Like, if not, then they not.
Then they not.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to pause, blooper reel or something, but that's coming out. Every click of the.
That's all right. We just need to let the listeners understand and know that we are doing a podcast right now. We have our son in here. He's playing with his Legos. So you're going to hear a
Our
little crumbling.
babysitter is out of town.
Exactly.
She's on a flight.
Hey, look, just like that.
This is a podcast. That's what I love about podcasts is that we can be free. You know,
I am still going to tell him to stop though because it is interfering with the sound of what you're saying. Look,
that's fine. I love that you're able to explain this shit as an artist. All these things coming out of your mouth as an artist. Because when we have these conversations with artists, it sounds like we're just putting pressure upon them.
Right.
You feel me? Like I can see it in their eyes. Exactly. I can see it in their eyes. They're just like, what? Like the next thing you just hit them with, boom. Like, no, you know you need to get contracts, right?
Yeah.
What? You know you should have split sheets for your music, right? What? You know that's a sample beat, so you need to get that cleared, right? What?
You know you shouldn't name it the same name as a sample that you just sat there and used. Like
what?
What? Yes.
So
I am a mom, so I know, and I'm used to saying some shit that will get ignored.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I don't get hard feelings about it, but it is kind of like, bro, you running yourself into the wall. What the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Because a lot of artists a lot of people fail to understand that this is a machine.
Mm-hmm.
So when a machine is in motion, it's like, yeah, you may be the body of the machine, but another person might be that leg, another person might be that arm. That's why you have PRs, you have managers, you have your social media teams, you have all that, and everyone needs to communicate and coordinate things because if one machine fall off, that whole thing, if one piece falls apart, that whole machine just fails.
Yep, exactly.
Like everybody's important. It's like that manager role is important. That PR role is important. And a lot of things intertwine.
Yes. A lot of things intertwine. You wear multiple hats.
That's why a lot of artists need to understand that, oh shit, I can be a PR really quick before I go and hire a PR.
Right. Facts.
Because it's money being spent on this.
Yes.
And then when you fuck up and say you don't want to do this, even though the PR went and did this, now the people in the industry is looking at you like, oh shit, like you're not doing your job.
Right.
Or you the manager, and people like, oh shit, how the fuck you as a manager allow your artist to go out there and put a sample song out? You feel me? So it's like people need to understand what's going on.
That's why we want to be people's managers, because if you don't listen and you're sitting here out here playing like music with uncleared like samples, when I'm sitting here telling you like, hey, the next time you come, just bring a split sheet, so you can bring that every time you go to a new engineer. And it's, how long has it been now? No names, but it's like a month later and you still don't have a split sheet.
Yeah.
So
you gotta be teachable.
You're thinking specific, and I'm just thinking overall. I have to say, like, overall, artists overall has that problem. But that's the beauty of being of our job,
right?
As a manager or as a PR, as whatever. It's like that's the beauty of our job, like, to help the artist. Our artists need to focus on being an artist.
Yes.
And
that's being teachable.
That's why it's hard.
Listen.
It's hard for me to see you and just the way you just work so hard and like so effortlessly, because you do a lot.
Yeah.
So the big question, because a lot of artists come through and they're like, you know what, I do music promotion and I do my own management and I do my own promotion and I'm an artist and I do my own events and I'm the one who's running my merchandise and I'm the one who's running everything about me. Same question, how? How and what do you find the most challenging?
Find it the most challenging. The most challenging is actually I enjoy the process. I honestly enjoy it because like I threw my own show 2019 for my birthday. I threw my own show at Riverside and I planned that all out in 1 month. Just me and my laptop and me going back and forth to the venue to get it approved, me going to see everything going on, me having rehearsals with the band, like, and all of that shit was just fun to me. Like, it's just like, I don't know, at the point now that I'm at in my career, now I'm like, okay, I might need a little help, cause I'm at that point. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like I was going like polish it up a little bit.
Like, what's the part that you feel is like, all right,
overwhelming?
Oh, all of it at this point, because I feel like I've done this part. It started off with like, okay, PR a couple years, artist couple years. In the artist, I'm doing all the PR work, and now it's like, I feel like I'm beyond like my resources. Like that's where I'm at. Okay, you learned all this, and it got you this far. Now it's time to reach out. That's where I'm at. Because for the longest, I had a manager when I first started, but I didn't either. It wasn't time. I didn't need a manager. You're not getting booked. You're not doing
I'm sorry. Amen. Say that again.
Yeah, like
in the beginning you said what?
I didn't need a manager. Like literally. It wasn't time. It was not the timing. It wasn't my time to have a man. I didn't need one. What are you doing to say that you need a manager? You do music? Is that why you need a manager? No. Like, I had to figure this shit out on my own first. Like, okay, where can I drop music at? And me learning from people, I learned DistroKid. I learned United Masters. Like, I got put on and stuff like that. And from there, I learned myself. Like, it was learning, like, okay, that's the thing. Artists really must be teachable. Because if you can't sit and listen, the next time they see you, if you have not applied what they had just said to you, they're not going to waste their time on you.
Hell yeah.
What? I just told you some information, bro. You just said that. I just gave him information. He didn't apply it. Next time I seen him, it's the same. You're in the same. You're supposed to be a little further because of what I told you.
That's
why you want me, right?
100%.
That's the name of this episode. You must be teachable.
You must be teachable.
Boy.
And I have been in rooms with artists, even me as an artist, I'm looking at them like, damn, I wish you knew like the PR knowledge that I knew, because you wouldn't even move like that. Like the way you're acting, like this is customer service. You must treat the engineers right. You must treat the videographers, the photographers, everybody that's helping you create what you trying to do. You got to treat them with respect.
Man, the sound guy, because they'll smoke you out and shit. Shout out, Chad.
Hey. No, for real though. Like, we walked into the room the other day and I had to sit here and speak to the door person. Like, I asked, what's your name? Mm-hmm. Because what I learned from our events is that they like to treat the door person as if they nobody. Not knowing that my wife, not knowing that
like 100% of the time I was a door person,
but they not knowing that we're running our own event. We're running our own event. Yeah. We own this company. Yeah, right. She owns the company. Yeah. She's president of the company, and they're just like, go get your boss.
That's the best part. They'd be like, I need to talk to the manager. I need to talk to your boss. Whoever's paying you. I'm like, bitch, you're paying me. This ticket you paying for right now is paying me.
Yeah, so we had to learn that person at the door may be just as important as everybody else.
Facts.
So that's why I speak to janitors.
People be worried about followers.
And a lot of people do this because Louis stands at his own door for events too. I noticed that too. The first time I met him, he was standing at the door. He was collecting tickets and shit. Somebody else was, but he was right there too. Yeah. So it's like, however the hell you're acting crazy with his people, they're going to remember that. Like we all do, obviously. If you find good peoples, you work with good peoples, you appreciate them. So when other people treat them like shit,
that's facts.
You know, you go and start shit for them.
That's facts.
We had that with a DJ one time where somebody told him, what they tell him? Fuck you or something like that? He said something basic to him, but basically, like, he had said something crazy like, fuck you or some shit like that to the DJ. So I went back and I was like, oh, no, that's not okay. So we started the whole thing, remember?
Yeah.
But the point was, like, you're not allowed to sit here and be saying this type of shit, disrespecting my team just because you feel like it. So we went to a whole thing with the venue over this, but it's like, that's my team. That's the DJ that I'm fucking with on the day to day.
That's my team,
Exactly.
Yeah, facts.
End of the day, we might lose your venue spot, but we're not going to lose our team.
Right. I had that kind of similar situation the other day when, I'm not going to name names. I was in a building. I was in a building with this very important name. I didn't know he was an important name. I didn't know that he was, but behind the scenes he is. And he did not make eye contact with me at all this entire time. Mind you, I'm there about 9 hours. 4 or 5 of them hours, he did not even, he's talking to everybody. They popping champagne, they passing cups around. He literally acts like he don't see me, right? Cool. I was chilling because I already knew.
And you know this person?
Yeah. No, I didn't know him. I didn't know I didn't learn him until after I left. But, so I'm like, okay, that's cool, all that, right? Then, Eric come walking through the door. He come in. He come right to me.
Bellinger, by the way.
Eric Bellinger.
She like to just throw shit.
My bad. People say that all the time. Why you just say Eric? Like, I don't know. Yeah, so Eric Bellinger come walking through the door.
I know hop out, but it's FT hop out.
Right.
I ain't saying hop. You don't know what hop I'm talking about. It's FT hop out.
Right.
You know, you might have heard of him.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, Eric Bellinger came walking through the door, and he came right to me. Shook hands like love, all that. And he was just looking like, what in the world? From there, he asking me questions. Now it's full engagement. And I just looked at him like, you did not know me a couple seconds ago. Like, watch how you treat people. You don't know who in the building, who they connected to,
and now you look embarrassed.
And now you here working for Eric. So
and you have no idea how many people pay attention to this.
Exactly.
Just because, so I know you, right? But at the same time, when I was working that recent event that we're not going to mention, but that event that, we met at, and they literally, your name was on the list. They hired me to do a job, so it was basically, here's the list, organize them, right? According to popularity, et cetera, relationships, verification, all that crap. And your name was on it, and it had a little asterisk next to it, and it was like, get a good spot in Eric Bellinger camp. And that's how I was like, she is? Hold on, same Syx, right? But people pay attention to that shit, and they will include. I hope people know these things do get included in notes. These things do get included in calls. Yeah. They do get included on the little side notes where people get to make decisions based off of that. Yep. So all of that shit matters.
All of that shit matters. That matters.
And actually, it's funny. I have. Shout out Carlos Lugo. We're working with him in our next event and everything. He's doing interviews. But what he was like, I need a list of all of the artists because I want to research them. I want to be able to know a little bit about them before I go and approach them because I don't want to walk into the room and I just don't know who these people are. I might treat them like they're nobody and this, and that. And I was like, I love that. I respect that. That's exactly what you should do.
Yeah,
and that's when you're doing interviews or when you're doing what he's doing, which is like podcast land. That's basically journalism.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Facts.
I respect the fact that he's willing to do journalism.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's proper work right
Yeah,
there.
Facts. Exactly. That's a position. They created a position out of it.
Positions. I like that you just said positions because it leads me to what I was gonna say. You are running a business. Do you know that?
Yeah. Pretty much.
You are a business. Do you understand
Yeah,
that?
walking business.
And that's what I want people to understand, that when I like that your mind frame is I'm a walking representation of something.
Yes.
You feel me? That's why when you're like, oh, I look at artists and they're just like this, and that. Like, do you know that that's bad business? Yeah, a lot of shit you should not be doing.
Yeah.
Especially on camera.
Especially on camera.
Because your music is maybe 20 to 25% of the music business. The rest is literally business.
Business.
It's about
business.
who you are as a person, who your team knows, who
Yes.
you know, how much money you can bring in.
Yes.
So when you sit here and think that you're somebody because your homies know who you is, and you know you can't really walk down the street too much because people say, "Hey, what's up?" But when you go to the next county, you're still a nobody. It's like you still have work to do.
Facts.
You need to be humble, but also respect the people that's around you.
Yes.
Because this is a business, and when it comes to money, money is everything. Business runs off money. So when you play a position, make sure that you are in that position, you're running it accordingly, because then you're going to fuck off the money.
Mm-hmm.
As an artist, you might do shit. For example, I'm going to say Quando Rondo. I know I don't... Hold on. No, in this music business, yes it is. If you can't bring in money, they don't fuck with you.
That's
shit.
True.
There's plenty of poor people that we fucked with.
Like I said, I'm going to make an example. Quando Rondo. I don't like saying names about things, but we're going to have to go to that example. Quando Rondo was at a point where he felt like he's just bigger than thou, and he can run off with his beef.
Yeah.
And even though things ran amic how it went, and you know it wasn't on him and it was on the other side, and his team reacted how they were supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But then you went and you pushed things.
Then you went and pushed things.
So when your concert gets canceled because they already feel like you're threatened. So your label is looking at you like you're not bringing in income because streams only do X amount of money.
Exactly.
But these concerts count. Your merch counts. You know. So it's like when you go and your concert gets canceled, and you go hanging out at a gas station with ski mask on, pulling out guns, saying we was ready.
Right.
They saying, okay, you're a dangerment to society. Yeah, exactly. You're a liability. That's the key word. Liability. They're not gonna give you the terms of how you're a liability. They're just gonna say liability.
Yeah.
All right, I agree.
So then when you...
I was trying to fight for you know, the power of music and all that, but no, in that sense, I agree.
So then when you go from that canceled concert to you actually having a concert that's not canceled and it's only 50 to 100 people inside...
People are worried about being safe.
Exactly. That means you're...
worried about being sick?
Safe. No, safe.
Safe.
So that means you're a liability and you're fucking off the money. Because you felt like this street shit and this beef shit and this image of being real was more important than you actually expanding out to your fans.
But let's argue. So YG, I remember approximately how many years?
YG was banned from.
No, I know. So like 10 years ago, I remember when he was like first not first, but like you know he was catching that wave and everything about 10 years ago. Because I remember Clarence was the one who told me. He would talk about it all the time. He was like, "Oh look, this is a YG show," and it was of course like a brawl. Everybody was like fighting and shots rang off, things like that. You know, shit happens.
And YG was banned from doing shows in not just Los Angeles, but in the county of Los Angeles.
Exactly.
But look at him now.
He had his image cleaned up.
That's true too, though. That's true too.